Meanwhile, in 32-3A and 31-3A, all of the 3A teams, it all got thrown into a tizzy this last week when Zapata came up with a big win at Rio Hondo. We wondered if Rio Hondo would be able to get it done. Wampuga did not play in the first half, came on with his injured ankle in the second half, but was not enough to rally Rio Hondo to a win. So now we've got a four-way tie for first place between Zapata, Rio Hondo, La Grulla, and Port Isabel. All of them are at 2-1, and 2 games left to play. Brendan, how do you see this shaking out?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm like everyone else. When the district season is so short, even in the larger districts, there's a traffic jam for playoff spots. In the smaller districts, there's obviously, as long as 1 or 2 upsets is all it takes to just throw everything, like you said, into a tizzy. I think Rio Hondo, when we talked to them preseason, they had so much expectations on winning the district, and they were just focused on winning in the playoffs on day 1 of full pad practice. I think they now have to kind of regather themselves and say, hey, we have some business to take care of here in the regular season.
Yeah, and that business starts with a big game at La Grulla coming up this Friday. Joe, your thoughts on this game, and let's go ahead and make our picks on it as well.
Well, talking about the way that this district shapes out, if you've ever got a coaching staff that can look at their kids and say, hey, you're in control of things, it is the Rio Hondo bunch, because of the mix. They've got a game this week that's among those 4 teams. They've got a game against Port Isabel coming up, so they've got the easiest road as far as preparing their kids. Win, you're in. All right, so that's the easiest pick. Now, can they win this week? Well, I think they're going to win this week. I think they're going to do it because of the fact that they got the ultimate wake-up call in that loss last week, and I think any team that gets a wake-up call that has it presented to them, all you have to do is win from here on, do what you're supposed to do in the preseason. Rio Hondo wins this ballgame.
Okay, well, La Grulla, of course, came up with a big shocker against Port Isabel that helped make this district what it is. Brendan, can they do it twice in a row? Can they do it against Rio Hondo?
I don't think so. I think Rio Hondo, a senior ball club, I think they did just get that wake-up call. I think they do know that they have some business to take care of in the regular season before they start thinking about winning in the playoffs. I like Rio Hondo to bounce back.
Yeah, Rio Hondo does need to get healthy if they're going to do this. We saw what happened last week in that first half without Wampuga at quarterback, so they do need to get healthy. But once again, I do have them winning on the road at Joe Sanchez Stadium in Rio Grande City. We all 3 have Rio Hondo winning that game. And finally, guys, in District 31 3A, as long as we're talking about the 3As, big games in Willacy County as Nueces County came down to Willacy County. Corpus Christi Miller at Lyford, and Corpus Christi West Oso at Raymondville. And out of those 2 games, it was Raymondville who came away with the win for the Valley. Some big yards by Jesse Valladares. And now Raymondville basically controls their own destiny. They have already played Orange Grove. They have already played Corpus Christi Miller, and they've already played Lyford. So now with 2 games left, just against Robstown this next week, and then against Miller, they definitely they control their own destiny. The Bearcats look good to get into the playoffs, Joe.
They look real good to get in the playoffs because of the fact that, unlike when I was talking about Rio Hondo playing against teams that are vying to get in the playoffs, they're playing against teams that they are supposed to beat. So the coaching staff just has to prepare these kids to say, do what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to beat these teams. Doesn't mean you're going to. Get out there and get the job done here in the playoffs.
Yeah, I misspoke. It's actually against Robstown this week, and then Raymondville will play Orange Grove, who leads the district. That could be for a district title in week 10.
Let's look at, though, these 3A teams. In both 3A districts that we have, they have been Jekyll and Hyde all season long. When you look at what Port Isabel is doing, Raymondville week to week, you never know, Lyford week to week. So you say teams that they're supposed to beat, that may be true, but these teams have been proven to just week in, week out, which team's going to show up. That's the team that, has to go on the field.